And a good Monday morning, Birds fans. Thanks for streaming in here on Birds 365. Usually on Monday mornings, we've got a lot to talk about an actual game that has been played and how it went and how the Eagles did and everything else. Oh, it's a Monday morning, and we've got a lot to talk about, even though the Eagles haven't taken a snap in the last 24 hours, be it in a game or practice or anything else. A lot has gone down with the Philadelphia Eagles over the last 24 hours. And McMullen and McDonald are here to talk about it with you. J-Mac, I was on the air yesterday morning with my other Mac buddy, Glenn Mac now. And in the midst of our Sunday morning show, we get news that Jalen Hurts' condition is worsened, that he has been downgraded to questionable for the game, and that he's going to take his own charter jet out so as not to get any of his teammates sick. Oh, that didn't sound good. We had another JM, Jeff McClain, come on and go, hey, at least he's getting on a plane. If he was that bad, they wouldn't have even sent him out there. So he spun it quasi-optimistically. Thought that it couldn't get any bigger than that, but no less than an hour later, Fox's Jay Glazer is reporting the Eagles have changed out their defensive coordinator. Sean Desai will still have the title, will still be in the building, but will be upstairs in the press box. And Matt Patricia, who, as I mentioned to Glenn Mack yesterday, we hadn't mentioned it. We do the Eagles every single day, 2 hours every single day, Monday through Friday. We had not mentioned Matt Patricia's name in months. In months, his name didn't come up on this show. It did last week just because of Frank Reich. And should they bring him back in as a consultant? And we said, yeah, everybody hated when they brought Matt Patricia. What effect has Matt Patricia had on this team? Nothing. Oh, he's going to have a massive effect on the Eagles going forward, taking over as the defensive play caller. When you got the news yesterday, what was the first thing you thought?
First thing I thought was panic move. And I'm interested to hear your take and some of your callers' takes when they heard the news, because there's a lot of ways you can go with this, but none of them are good. None of them are good. And, whether this is Nick Sirianni's decision by himself, whether Jeffrey Lurie stepped in, Howie Roseman stepped in, you can talk about that part of it. You can talk about the impact on the defense and how that's gonna help. The one thing I can say is, it's baked in. The defense is going to get better in the last month of the season. It has nothing to do with Sean Desai. It has nothing to do with Matt Patricia. It has everything to do with the schedule. So maybe the positive aspect is you from a human nature standpoint, from a momentum standpoint, you can play that, because I guarantee you, Jody, I guarantee you what the story is going to be in the playoffs. And by the way, the Eagles clinched a playoff berth without playing yesterday. Going into the playoffs, the defense has gotten better over the final month of the season and things are starting to look up and blah, blah, blah. That's because you're going to be playing. Who knows if Geno Smith is going to play? You might be playing Drew Lock. You're going to be playing Tommy Cutlets twice. You're going to be playing the Arizona Cardinals. And nobody's going to look at the context, because they never look at the context. They're going to say, oh, it's gotten better the past week versus, playing Buffalo and Dallas and all those teams. But
yeah, that San Francisco team is the one.
San Francisco should have
led. They're pretty good on offense.
Should have led with them.
Yeah.
So you get my point, though. And the matter of fact, it's going to get better. Don't be fooled by that. Is it going to really get better? It's hard to get worse. So from that standpoint, okay. But it's not good. It's not good. We're sitting here in week 15. And as you mentioned before we came on the air, Nick Sirianni's there this week. Saying, no, I got the people in the building. I got complete confidence. I got all the and Sean Desai, talk about just why is he in the building? Why is he accepting this? From that standpoint of having all his power taken away. basically made impotent on that side of the football. Now, the Eagles could have handled this better. If you think about Andy Reid, if you think about Doug Peterson, you spin it like the offensive play call gives up play calling every once in a while. Doug did it. Nobody even knew. He let Rick Scangarella do some red zone stuff. He let Press Taylor do some 2-minute hurry up stuff. Nobody even knew. You could have handled it that way. If it was just about trying to look for a spark or something of that nature. But no, they went the way. And the bottom line is they could spin it, and they're going to spin it moving forward. And we're going to see that unfold in the next, few days and next week. They're going to spin it in that type of fashion. Oh, we're just trying to create a spark. We're just trying to get a different look for Sean Desai, get him upstairs, blah, blah, blah. All of that. But the bottom line is he lost not only his play calling, but he lost his power over the defense. And that's now Matt Patricia's decision. So call him whatever you want, use whatever title. We joke about these titles all the time, whether it's Jamal Singleton as assistant head coach, Kevin Patullo as associate head coach. I remember asking, what's changed with Kevin Patullo? Oh, nothing. He just got a title bump. The Cheers title bump, I call it, from the sitcom. So I don't care what the titles say. Matt Patricia is the defensive coordinator in week 15.
Right. The change itself and how we got there.
He doesn't have to talk. No accountability, because technically he's not the defensive coordinator. So Sean Desai essentially is his press secretary. They're going to route him out there on Wednesday or Friday next week.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Why would they? He's the defensive coordinator. Why would they do anything else? Sean Desai is still the defensive coordinator. So Matt Patricia, by league rules, does not have to talk to the media or reporters, as he hasn't done all season.
But then what does Desai say on it'd be Wednesday this week? Usually it's Tuesday coordinated, but a Monday game pushes it back. What the hell is Sean Desai going to say on Wednesday?
My guess is what I just said. Go up to the booth, get a better look, get a better overview, get a spark. That's my guess.
Really? Wow, that's going to be. You should have fun on Wednesday. That's going to be an awkward and yet interesting media session. All right, let's put the how did we get here behind us for just a second, because the most important thing is what the hell happens on the field defensively for the Eagles tonight against the Seahawks. The hiring of Sean Desai for me was pretty much a confirmation that this defense going forward was going to be Fangio based, that he was much like his predecessor, Gannon, who was leaving to go to Arizona, that he too had coached under Vic Fangio, that the head coach had leaned in so heavily to this is the defense that we want to play and not give up chunk plays. And it was pretty much stamped out there that this is the Eagles defense. Yeah, the DC is going to change, but our overall philosophy and the way we play defense is not. This is the way the Philadelphia Eagles play defense right now. That hasn't been Matt Patricia. That hasn't been, and Matt Patricia hasn't had the chance to say, yes, coming here, I knew I had to change my way of looking at defense because I'm now part of the Philadelphia Eagle organization. He did it differently his entire time as a assistant in New England and as a head coach in Detroit. They didn't play Fangio type defenses. What kind of defense are the Eagles going to trot out there tonight, John? Is it just going to be Fangio doing what the Eagles have done all year? Will there be a drastic change that you can see? Because if you're going to give him the power, you got to let him do what he wants. What's Eagle defense going to look like tonight against the Seahawks in Seattle?
It's going to look the same. There's nothing he can do in the time frame the Eagles gave him. He can't change anything. It's going to be the same scheme, the same philosophy, just a different play color. Maybe he's got a better feel for certain situations. He's a veteran coach. He's a very good coach. He's been a very good defensive coach. I don't want to downplay that aspect of it. But there's nothing he can do inside of a week. And we don't even know. We'll know eventually. We'll figure it out. But we don't even know when this happened. Now, Jay reported they quietly did it during the week. So if you look at the time frame, Tuesday, it was Tuesday because everything was screwed up this week last week because of the game being on Monday night. So it was Tuesday when Nick did his post game video press conference, and that's where he doubled down and said he was asked right away, "You plan on making any changes?" Mainly from the offensive side. He was asked about the offensive play calling. If you remember, we were talking about that last week, and he doubled down and said, "Nope, we got the people in the building. We're very confident in everything." So Eagles didn't get back on the field till Thursday. Presumably, that's when they decided to make the change by that point. Presumably. Now, Sean Desai looked the same on the sidelines from the very short time we were able to see practice, and it's very short. It was one day, 10, 15 minutes, but was not acting abnormal or in a different role. Didn't see anything changing from all that perspective. But even if they made the decision by Thursday when they got back on the practice field, you remember they shifted from a walkthrough to an actual practice. So maybe that had something to do with it as well. Why are they practicing? Nick blatantly lying to us in front of everyone. And people say, okay, who cares about the media? I don't give a crap. I'm going to find out anyway. He's lying to you. I don't care. He can do whatever he wants when he talks to media people, when he talks to reporters. But that's the vehicle where you get information as a fan. Right. He's lying to you if that's the way it shook out. Now, in hindsight, it certainly looks that way because they shifted from walkthrough to practice. And I hope, by the way, that is the way it went, because if they made this decision on Sunday when it came out, that's even a bigger disaster. And makes less sense. So I hope it was Thursday. And long term, you can't do anything in that time frame. So it's going to be the same defense, the same philosophy. Although you're not going to have Darius Slay, we haven't even talked about that. You're not going to have Zach Cunningham. So Kaylee Ringo is going to be out there. Shaq Leonard's going to be out there. And they're probably going to be better because the competition isn't as good. And
Seahawks offense is not bad. It might not be the Bills or the Niners or the Cowboys. The drop off comes in the last three games. The Seahawks, that defensive secondary right now against the four receivers the Seahawks have. You think this defense is holding them to under 20 points tonight?
Well, no, but first of all, I got to see. Do we know if Geno's playing? Because I haven't seen anything. First of all, I have to see who's playing quarterback. Obviously, it's a little bit more difficult with Geno Smith, and I don't know how healthy he is. He's certainly banged up, but I'm not a big Drew Lock guy. So it more has to do with, look, I think they're up against it if Drew Lock has to play quarterback. Not that the Eagles have a good matchup in the secondary. The Eagles basically never have a good matchup in the secondary, certainly not against DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Njigba. So they're not going to have a good matchup from that perspective, certainly with Kaylee Ringo getting thrown into the deep end of the pool, which is the expectation. So, yeah. But if it's Drew Lock, it's Drew Lock. And you're right. I mean, they're still better than the Giants. And, Arizona, if Kyler Murray has a Superman game, that could be, put an asterisk on that. He can do some things against anybody. But what can't be debated is the schedule gets much softer starting tonight than what it has been. So it's going to be better. But what does that mean in the final 4 weeks? And what is the signal of this move at this moment send not only to the team, but what does it say about Nick Sirianni? What does it say about Jeffrey Lurie? What does it say about Howie Roseman? Strange
is a very good way to describe it, and that's what it was like on the air yesterday when all this Eagle news came down. And oh, by the way, we haven't even got to the quarterback yet, and whether he is going to play tonight. Oh, by the way, I can pretty much guarantee.
Maybe they're trying to hide that. By the way, yeah,
Oh,
he ain't
I
taking that trip.
guarantee you that he's trying to hide. That's Nick Sirianni, Mr. Competitive
No.
Advantage
I meant
himself.
trying to hide that Jalen was sick. I'm joking, but he would not be taking that trip if he
By
wasn't going to
himself?
play.
No,
Yeah,
no shot.
yeah,
They're being upfront. That's something different for the
yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles. No, Nick Sirianni is going to attempt to keep the Jalen Hurts game time status as close to game time as possible. They're going to try and keep that under wraps because Nick believes in keeping the other team in the dark as much as he possibly can. He so overstates that, but that will be a true game time decision. Now, when we had Jeff McMullen on yesterday, he said, and it was just an opinion, him getting on the plane means that he reads into that the Eagles think he's going to be okay by game time. That's why they did what they did. And that if you had to say a yay or nay, McMullen thought that he was probably going to play tonight. I don't know that. I hope he's right, but I don't know that. And I don't know that any
I
of
said
us
the same
will know.
thing. I think Jeff's right. I think that if there was any doubt, they wouldn't have making him take that trip. But yeah, if you get sick, if you get worse, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, it's not 100%, but I think it's a very good sign that he's going to
Here's
try to
the
play.
one thing that was not in play yesterday, and I see our buddy Jeff Kurtz ready to join us. We'll punch him up in just a minute. When they made the decision, he had to get on the plane. Cowboys hadn't lost to the Bills yet. If they knew the Cowboys were going to go to Buffalo and get their tails kicked, then they were going to have their advantage in the division reinstated. Maybe they tell Jalen, just say, get back in underneath the covers. Take this one off. We've got a little wiggle room here. I'm just speculating here, but it looks like Jalen Hurts is. I know he got on the plane. The question is he going to play? We won't know till game time. Here's what I know. Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports, our usual Monday early guy, is ready to hop on board. Usually it's post-game stuff. We got so much pre-game stuff to talk about. We're punching up Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports next there on Birds 365.